Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're on a bit of a mission. We're looking at sources that treat investing not as this big, scary thing on Wall Street, but more like a cheat code.
Yeah, a cheat code for real-life money. It's a great way to put it, because most people hear investing and they immediately think gambling.
Right. High stakes, you win or you lose everything. But we're going to strip that all away today. The goal is to really understand investing as, well, simply owning stuff.
That's it. Owning a piece of the companies you already interact with every single day.
And that's the core promise we're unpacking, this idea of passive ownership.
Yeah.
You buy one tiny slice of a company you love, and then it works for you while you're sleeping, while you're at school, whatever.
It's the ultimate form of leverage. I mean, think about it. Your favorite gaming company, that coffee shop you go to, the shoes you're wearing. If you own a slice of that business, you own a piece of its success.
Exactly.
And the analogy that just cuts through all the noise for me is McDonald's. Let's forget stocks and bonds for a second.
If you own one tiny slice of McDonald's, every single time someone anywhere on the planet buys a Big Mac, a few little pennies, they just zoom right into your pocket.
Not just once.
Every minute of every day, potentially forever. And that is what a stock is.
And that McDonald's idea is the perfect way to get into our first segment, what it actually means to own that slice.
Yeah, because this is the crucial part that separates it from just, betting on something.
It is not gambling. It is not hoping for luck. Investing is buying a legal, verifiable piece of a business.
Okay, so let's get into the wonderful, cheesy breakdown from the source, the greatest pizza party analogy.
Right. So imagine the biggest, most successful pizza you can possibly think of, like a pizza worth billions of dollars.
Okay, I'm with you.
That whole pizza, that's the company. Let's say it's Roblox or Nike or Disney.
A giant multi-billion-dollar pizza.
Exactly. Then the company cuts that massive pie into millions, sometimes billions, of tiny, tiny little slices.
Yep.
And we call those slices
Shares.
shares. That's it.
So when I buy a share, I own that slice. It's mine until I sell it. But I mean, if I only have one slice out of millions, does my ownership really matter? Am I just, throwing money into a black hole with zero control?
Well, that's the beautiful part of being a passive investor. You don't have to worry about running the restaurant.
I don't need to make the dough.
You don't make the dough. You don't schedule the staff. Your job as an owner of that slice is just to wait. You are legally entitled to a portion of the profits without doing any of the work.
You just eat money pizza whenever the company makes a profit. I love that line.
That's the one.
So I'm basically an absentee landlord. I don't fix the plumbing, but I get a check when the rent comes in.
Precisely. And we should be clear, there is risk. If that pizza company goes out of business, the value of your slice could go to zero.
Right.
So this is about long-term ownership. You have to be okay with the idea that the company could fail, which is why, we're going to talk about quality control later.
Okay, that makes sense. And that focus on quality brings us right to our second segment, the superpower of passive income and growth, or as some call it, the infinite glitch.
This is where the real long-term magic happens.
Let's start with that comic strip example, the one about the kid buying McDonald's stock.
Yeah, the free fries story.
So the kid buys one share for, what, $50?
$50. And then 10 years later, that one share has sent him so much recurring thank you money that he's basically swimming in free French fries for life.
Yeah.
It's a simple idea, but it shows how a tiny seed can just grow and grow.
And that accumulation is great. But the real-life Disney example, that's where the aha moment really hits. This is where we see the exponential growth.
Okay, so let's go back in time. It's 1990. A single share of Disney stock cost about $9.
$9. So if maybe my parents or grandparents had bought, say, 100 shares, that's a $900 investment.
Right, about $900. Now let's look at the journey of that investment.
Today, fast forwarding to 2025, those same shares are worth over $18,000.
$18,000. That's a 20-fold return. But here's the thing. It didn't just happen in a straight line.
No, of course not.
Two things happened. First, you have what are called stock splits. Over those 35 years, Disney would say, hey, for every one slice you own, we're going to cut it into two smaller slices.
So the total value stays the same at that exact moment, but suddenly I own more pieces.
Exactly. So your 100 slices might have become 200, then 400 slices over the decades without you spending another dollar.
Wow.
And the second mechanism is compounding. That $18,000 isn't just because Disney got bigger. It's because if Disney paid out cash dividends and you use that cash to automatically buy more Disney stock.
Then my 100 slices become 110, then 120.
And it just accelerates. Your
Yeah.
money starts making its own money, and that new money starts making money. It's a self-fueling loop.
And that 18 grand, I mean, that's enough to pay for a huge family trip to Disney World. Flights, hotels, everything. And the best part is, you still keep the shares.
You still own the asset. It's a vacation funded entirely by one good long-term decision.
Which brings us to those cash payments, the dividends. The sources call them thank you money.
Yeah, some companies are just extra polite. Not every company does this, but a lot of the big, stable ones, think Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Apple, they literally mail you cash just for owning their stock.
So the company's basically saying, hey, we made a bunch of profit, more than we need right now, so here's your cut.
Exactly. It's called a dividend. It hits your bank account every few months, completely separate from whether the stock price goes up or down.
They provide stability, right? Because even if the market has a bad year, those checks can keep coming.
That's why long-term investors love them. And that idea of stability and quality. It's the perfect lead-in to our strategy segment on Charlie Munger's secret checklist.
Munger. Warren Buffett's partner for decades. He had this brilliant, almost childlike way of deciding what to own.
He had one core rule. Only buy companies that pass what we're calling the 10-year-old test. It's incredibly simple, but so disciplined. Just 3 checkpoints.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, the company has to be ethical. And this isn't just about, being nice. It's about operational integrity.
So no cheating, no lying, no business models built on taking advantage of people.
Right. Because if a business isn't ethically sound, eventually it's going to crumble.
Makes sense. What's number 2?
It has to be easy to understand. Munger's rule was, if you can't explain what the company does and how it makes money to a reasonably smart 10-year-old, you shouldn't own it.
I love that. Complexity hides risk. So, soda, shoes, movies, simple ideas.
Precisely. And that brings us to the third and most important rule, the one everyone talks about. Does the company have a moat?
A moat? Like a castle?
Literally, think of a giant crocodile-filled ditch of water around a castle. That's its defense. In business, the moat is whatever makes it super difficult or expensive or just plain impossible for a competitor to copy you.
Okay, but moat can feel a little abstract. The sources had some fantastic, really specific examples of what this actually looks like.
Let's start with Coca-Cola. Its moat isn't just the secret formula.
It's that it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. The brand recognition and the global distribution network. You can find a Coke in the tiniest village on the planet.
Yeah.
Trying to build a competing brand with that kind of trust and reach today, it's almost impossible.
You're fighting a 130-year-old marketing machine. Okay, so what about a modern moat? The sources said YouTube's moat is made of cat videos.
And that's the network effect. The moat isn't the code, it's the people. Since everyone watches videos on YouTube, every creator uploads their videos there.
Which brings more viewers.
Which brings more creators. It's a feedback loop. If you start a new video site tomorrow, it's an empty city. You don't have the content or the audience.
But wait a second, is that moat really holding up? I mean, you've got TikTok, you have Twitch for gaming.
Yeah.
Aren't those platforms pulling people away?
That's a critical question for 2025. And it shows that moats aren't static. You have to keep digging them deeper. YouTube's moat is holding because they adapted. They saw TikTok and launched YouTube Shorts.
So they're competing directly.
They're expanding the moat. They own long-form video. Now they have short-form video. They have the whole monetization system. They aren't just defending the old castle. They're building new walls.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, and finally, my favorite example, Lego. The moat is the perfect click sound.
It's brilliant, isn't it? The sources point out that the knockoff bricks, they just feel wrong. Lego's moat is precision engineering. The fact that a brick made today clicks perfectly with a brick made in 1958.
And quality control. That perfect click is a signal of trust. You know it's going to work. Imitators just can't match it.
So it all ties back to Munger's core principle. Only buy companies you'd be proud to own when you're 80 years old.
When you think like that, you stop worrying about tomorrow's stock price and you start thinking about timeless quality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're asking, will this business still be dominant in 30 years? If you can't say yes, it fails the test.
So now we know what to look for. Ethical, simple, moat-protected companies. Let's move to segment 4, putting this knowledge to work. Because the sources give some really great actionable steps you can take, even with no money.
Right. These are like mental exercises. They're designed to shift your brain from a consumer's mindset to an owner's mindset. The first one is the Slice Hunter worksheet.
This is where you identify 10 companies you interact with and would actually love to own. But this is the key part. You have to define their moat.
You have to articulate its defense. Is it the vibe, like Roblox? Is it the characters, like Nintendo's Mario? Is it that feel, like Lego's Click?
It forces you to actually think like Munger. Then there's the dividend detective mission.
This one makes passive income real.
Hmm.
You just use Google, look up the annual dividend for a company like Apple or Coca-Cola, then you do the math.
If I owned 100 shares, how much free money would land in my account every year while I'm just living my life?
Let's say a company pays $4 per share a year. With 100 shares, that's $400, just for being an owner. It makes the whole concept tangible.
It's not abstract anymore. It's your phone bill, paid for. Okay, what's the third exercise?
The $20 time machine game. This is all about psychological training. You have to pretend you have $20, you buy one company slice, and you have to commit to holding it for 20 years. No selling.
The point is to train that long-term muscle. Because the sources say the real pro move is to make this decision once and chill.
Yes, the excitement is in the buying, but the real wealth is built in the boring part, the holding.
And that leads to the last and maybe most important first step. Just building your first watch list.
This is the thing most adults never even do. Just open the Notes app on your phone and list 5 or 10 companies from your Slice Hunter worksheet. That's it.
By just watching them, you're now engaging as an investor. You're paying attention. Even if you haven't bought a single share, that shift in perspective, that's the real cheat code.
It is.
This whole deep dive really just brings us back to that big secret that adults sometimes make way too complicated. Investing isn't some scary mystery.
It's just a giant store where you can buy pieces of the best brands on earth.
And you just trust that those pieces usually get bigger over time. And sometimes they even send you thank you money.
And that, right there, brings us to the ultimate implication. The power of starting early. We have to end on this final boss-level thought from the material.
Time. Time is the ultimate cheat code. The sources are they're completely clear on this.
Oh, absolutely.
Someone who starts investing intelligently at, say, age 10 and just keeps at it
They will almost always end up with more money by age 50.
than someone who starts at 30. Even if that 30-year-old is saving way more money every month.
It seems impossible, but it's just the pure, raw power of 2 extra decades of compounding. The amount you start with almost doesn't matter compared to the amount of time you have.
Owning stuff, getting that thank you money, and just letting it work for you from a young age. It's an irreversible advantage.
It truly is.
So you have this knowledge now. Here's the challenge for you, based on Charlie Munger's test. Think about a company, a product, a service you use every day, a streaming platform, a shoe, a snack. What is its strongest, hardest to copy moat? What is its unique, competitive, perfect click that makes you believe it will still be dominant 20 years from now?
Because that's where you'll find the best slices.